If you are thinking about purchasing real estate in our city, you probably have a lot of questions. And if you're not from here, you're probably unsure of where you should even start. Last week, I did a video about the first steps to buying a home in Miami. And so I'm going to continue that video today with the second steps to buying a home in Miami. There's a lot to know about our local real estate, and Miami-Dade is a huge county. We have properties that are on the water, there are landlocked properties, townhomes, condominiums, properties on the beach. I mean, there's a lot of different real estate throughout our county. Throughout our experience, we've really encountered a lot of people who are just not very clear about the real estate process here. And as we always say in real estate, location, location, location. Well, that also applies to how we do the real estate business in our area and the typical practices and what to expect. Our city is unlike any other place in the United States, that's for sure. And our job is to help best guide our buyers to avoid a lot of pitfalls, a lot of mistakes, and we just want to educate our clients so that they can make good decisions about today's real estate market. So we're going to continue this today with the second steps to buying a home in Miami, and I'm going to get started now. Hey everyone, my name's Jamey Prezzi. I'm a real estate agent in Miami-Dade. I work with my husband, Ognjen Prezzi, and our team. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the second steps to buying a home in Miami. But first, before I get started, if this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another update. We do put out new videos every week. Also, use the link in our information box and download our free relocation guide. If you've seen that guide before, you may want to get it again because I've recently updated it. It's 42 pages long now. It's a lot, but I think you'll find it super helpful. Also, in the information box, you can find all of our contact information. And if you would like to get on our calendar to do a free buyer or seller consultation, I do have a link for Calendly there, so you can click on that link and schedule a free consultation with us. Okay, let's get started. In the first video, I talked a lot about the buyer consultation and why you really shouldn't skip this step. There's a lot to know about buying real estate in our area, from the property inspections to the insurance, the flood zones, to property taxes. There's just a lot of information that you just cannot find online. And so I highly, highly recommend that you do not skip the buyer consultation step, which is really part of the first step. But I always like to emphasize that again because I think it's really a waste of time just to come here and start looking at properties. You really need to do that step so that we can best guide you based on your expectations from that conversation and your budget and where you want to live. The next thing that you should really do is a lot of research online. If you, for example, have kids and they need to be in a certain school, or you still haven't decided about the school, it's important to know that as real estate agents, we cannot give advice about schools. That's just something that we're not allowed to do. So if a school is very important to you, you really need to do that research on your own. And then we can talk about where you want to live if you have to be in a certain school district or whatever it is that you need to do. Maybe you don't want to have a really far commute from your kid's school, so we need to focus in a certain area so you're not driving too far. Sometimes I have people who they'll buy a property on the beach, but their kids are going to school in Coconut Grove and Coral Gables, and that can be a bit of a drive every single day. So if that commute is important to you or school is important to you, you really need to do a lot of that research in advance. Also, maybe you have a job that you have to drive to every single day, and maybe it's in Broward. Well, do you want to live on Miami Beach where you have to cross over the bridge every single day and then up a really busy highway to get to that job? Or maybe you want to live a little bit closer to Broward, and so we can focus on areas that are a little closer to that job commute every single day. Or maybe even in Broward, which we can help you with too. So definitely start some research online. Don't just rely on what we say. You really need to do your own research online, especially when it comes to your lifestyle, your daily activities, your commute, and all of those kinds of details outside of the real estate factor when it comes to buying a house here. The next crucial step is to visit Miami for a few days. I would definitely recommend to come here and really drive around. Drive around during rush hour times, drive around midday, get an idea and a feel for the neighborhood where you want to purchase real estate. Maybe there are several different areas, maybe you're just not sure. Single family homes, those are a little bit more complicated than condominiums. Condominiums, a lot of our people just know exactly where they want to be and they're buying in that building, in that area. Single family homes, if you're not 100% sure, then you really need to drive around a lot and get a feel for the area. If you've never been here before, you definitely need to come and drive around. And I wouldn't focus so much on the interior of these properties at this point. I would really just come and look at the style. Maybe you don't really like the style of properties in that neighborhood. You want to try a different neighborhood. So we can help guide you with that. But it's just important to come here and get an idea about the lifestyle, driving around, the traffic. If you're going to be driving someone to school every day or driving to work every day, definitely do that commute in the rush hour times and the busy times when you'll be going there, so you can get a feel of what it's like to do that drive all the time. So definitely come, plan a little trip, drive around and get a feel for the lifestyle of those neighborhoods, the style of homes in those neighborhoods. Sometimes people will drive through a certain neighborhood that they thought they liked online, and then they're like, I don't like the style of any of these houses here. We need to regroup. So why not do that? Come in advance and do it. Maybe do that at the beginning of your trip, and then towards the end, then we can start looking at properties. But I would definitely recommend to do a little bit of due diligence in advance so that we can really hone in on the areas where you want to focus. The next step that we need to be crystal clear on is how you're planning to pay for the property. So in the original video, I talked a lot about, determining how you're paying, speak to lenders, or if you're paying cash, all of that. But now, if you're actually out looking at properties, we need to make sure that we have on file either a pre-approval letter from your bank or a proof of cash letter from your bank. We can talk about that, but we need to have proof of payment, how you're planning to pay for the property. Sometimes people require these to even get in to see a property. Some agents, that's what they tell their sellers, and that's what their sellers require. So it's important that we have it on file in advance so we don't miss any opportunities. And we will definitely need that documentation for when we are submitting an offer. If you're getting financing, I need that documentation so I can actually prepare the financing contingency on the contract, because I need to know how much money you're putting down, what type of loan you're getting, and some other details that I need off of that documentation. Many times sellers will not take offers seriously if they don't have the documentation and proof of how you're planning to pay for that property. So we don't want to be like looking around for that at the last minute. It's important to have that on file before we start looking at properties, and it's also important to have it on file for when you make an offer. There's nothing worse than running out and looking at a property and we need to make an offer really fast, but we can't find the lender or the banker to prepare that letter for us. So definitely let's get that on file in advance so that you're prepared to beat out other people when other buyers come along and they're a little bit more organized. So let's make sure that we have that on file. After you've completed the previous steps, you'll start to have a clear idea about what you want to buy. And so the next step in the process is to really get out and start looking at the properties in person. You know exactly where you want to be. You've driven the commute. You know exactly what it will take to get back and forth around your activities every single day, whether it's school or work or whatever's going on in your life. And then we also have the proof of funds letter. This is one of the best parts, because once we start getting an idea about what you like in person, then we can really start going crazy on narrowing down that property selection. And this is actually when Ognjen comes into play really, really good, because he's very, very good at finding great properties for our buyers. So, and he always does this based on how they're responding to seeing the properties in person. He knows what they like, and then he's able to even do a more targeted search based on this in-person feedback. Now, with that said, we do have buyers who do buy sight unseen, and we do have buyers who purchase remotely. That's another discussion that we can have. So if you're not able to be here in person and start looking at the properties in person, no need to worry. We can help you do that from a distance as well. We've assisted numerous people who are relocating into our area from other parts of the world and also the United States. And it's one of our favorite things to do is introducing people to our incredible city and also helping our locals as well. We have a lot of clients that we've worked with over the past 20 years, and we are always here to be a resource for you. There's so much that you need to know about buying real estate in our area, and we want you to have a good experience so that you can make a smooth move to Miami. My name is Jamey Prezzi. This is my husband, Ognjen Prezzi. You can find us online on Instagram at the Prezzis. Don't forget to download our free relocation guide and be sure to reach out to us. All the information is in the information box. Okay, I think that's it for today, and we will see you soon.